Welcome to WTF Media. If you love crazy, unbelievable stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. Let's jump right into today's story. I don't know, maybe I should have seen it coming. I knew my wife had been spending a lot of time with her friend Audrey. I wasn't crazy about that. Audrey was divorced and lived a pretty wild life as far as I was concerned. She was constantly changing boyfriends. I couldn't keep up with them. But then I had no reason to try. I really didn't like her. Even so, I never tried to come between her and my wife, Linda. Looking back, maybe that was a mistake. I don't know. All I do know is that she was instrumental in convincing my wife to rip my heart out. Linda and I had been married for 17 years. We had a 15-year-old daughter, Tanya. Our son, Clay, was 2 years younger. We lived, as I guess, most suburban families do. Linda worked in a doctor's office, and I was pretty successful at selling computer software. We had a nice home, 2 nice cars, and a wonderful family life, at least as far as I was concerned. The first indication I had that Linda didn't exactly share my utopian view of things was when I came home one Friday night to see her and Audrey sitting at the kitchen table. Audrey looked as smug as ever, but I thought Linda looked a little worried. It didn't take a genius to figure out something was up. "Hi, darling," Linda said, while standing to give me a kiss. "Hi, honey," I responded, putting my briefcase down and wrapping my arms around my lovely wife. After we kissed, I glanced at Audrey and greeted her with a simple hi. "I'm going to run upstairs and change," I said, reaching down for my attache. "Okay, darling. Would you like a cup of coffee?" She seemed to be searching for words. "Audrey and I have something we'd like to talk to you about when you come back down." "What?" I asked, figuring there was no time like the present. "Well, why don't you go up and change, honey? I'll get your coffee and we'll talk when you come back down, okay?" I looked into her eyes for some sign of what it was all about. She was definitely anxious about something. I felt a tinge of fear go through my body as I glanced over and saw the smirk on Audrey's face. Whatever the two were cooking up, I was sure I wasn't going to like it. My brain went into overdrive as I climbed the stairs. One by one, I thought of a dozen different possible scenarios of what I would face when I returned. None of them, however, prepared me for what actually happened. It took me only a few minutes to change from my suit and tie into a pair of casual slacks and a polo shirt. My coffee was sitting on the table in front of my chair when I walked back into the kitchen. Audrey was busily chatting away. It almost sounded like she was coaching my wife about something, but she was almost whispering, and I couldn't hear her that well. They didn't even notice me until I was on the other side of the table. I sat down, took a sip of coffee, and looked at them. "Okay, what's going on? What's this all about?" Linda was hesitant, and for a moment froze without saying a word until Audrey gave her a little prompt. "Go ahead," she told my wife. "He loves you. He'll understand." Linda lowered her eyes as if she couldn't look me in the face. "Honey, you know I love you. Very much, so please don't take this the wrong way. Well, I want to go out on a few dates with Audrey. Not all the time," she blurted out, "just once in a while." I wasn't quite sure. I understood what she meant by dates. Whatever she meant, the answer was going to be no, but I couldn't believe she was actually talking about screwing other guys. I had to clarify. "Just what do you mean by dates? Are you talking about having sex with other men?" Well, my wife was trying to reply. Audrey broke in. "It doesn't mean she doesn't love you, Robert." I was going to cut her off by telling her I was talking to my wife, but decided to let her speak. I knew this wasn't my wife's idea. It had Audrey's name written all over it, but I wanted to see if I could figure out how the hell she got Linda to go along. She continued, "It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. We were talking and she told me that besides you, she's only been with one other man in her whole life. That's ridiculous, Robert. I'm sure you've had a lot more women than that. She needs to get out and have a little fun." I looked back at my wife. "So, sex with me isn't fun?" Linda finally looked up at me. I tried to mask the pain in my face, but I don't think I was doing a very good job. "Honey, I didn't say that," responded Audrey, again heading Linda off. "But men have different ways of doing things. It's just variety, that's all. There are a lot of guys out there who love their wives enough to let them go out and have a little fun." "It doesn't mean anything, Robert. It's just sex. Hell, Linda and I discussed it and decided it was only fair to let you get a little on the side as well, if you wanted." I looked back at Linda. I'm not sure if it was fear or regret that I saw, but I think she was beginning to feel like this was a big mistake. "I see," I said flatly. I could feel tears building in my eyes, but was determined to hold them back. "Audrey, can you stick around for a little while?" "I want to discuss this more when I come back," I said, rising from my chair. "Sure," she replied with a triumphant look on her face. I'm sure she thought she had me. "Where are you going?" Linda asked, finally speaking again. "I'll be back in a little while," I responded, but not answering her question. I went into my home office and closed the door. Since I was a kid, I've always taken a no-nonsense approach to life. I don't mean I don't like to have fun. I can party with the best of them, and I have a great sense of humor. But when it comes to serious matters, I believe in facing them head on. I fought more tears as I sat down at my computer and started typing my response to Linda's proposal. "Dear Linda, I never thought I would be so hurt by the woman I have loved with all my heart for so many years. But when you informed me of your intentions to have sex outside of our marriage, you broke my heart. I know your friend Audrey is behind it, but your willingness to go along with her scheme has already damaged our relationship and our marriage. Just to be absolutely clear as to my position concerning your intended infidelity, I categorically state that I will consider any sexual relations of any kind with a male or female as a betrayal and a violation of our wedding vows. To further clarify, sexual relations include any oral or physical stimulation in a sexual manner, either given or received. Should you disregard my feelings in this matter and continue with your adulterous quest, here's what will happen. 1. On Monday morning, I will immediately file for divorce. 2. I will contact our parents and everyone we know to inform them of our impending divorce and explain exactly why I took the action I did. 3. I will sit down with the children and explain the reasons we are divorcing. 4. Until our divorce is final, I will leave no stone unturned until I uncover the names of anyone you date. If they are married, I will inform their wives. I will inform their wives. I will have no mercy and no sympathy for them or their families. Make sure they know this before you put them and their families in jeopardy. 5. Once the divorce process has started, there will be no turning back. We will always be connected through our children, but I will break off all emotional ties with you and start rebuilding my life without you in it. My dear, you have a choice to make. Above are the consequences should you make good on your threat to have sex with other men. However, should you decide you would rather continue in this marriage, there will be conditions. As I have already stated, revealing your intentions for having extramarital sex has hurt me more than I ever thought I could be hurt. At this point, I don't know if I can forgive you or if the damage to our marriage can be repaired, but I am willing to try, providing you accept my terms. They are 1. Immediately cut all ties with Audrey. Never again be in contact with her for any purpose. 2. Until I decide differently, you will move your belongings into the spare bedroom and sleep there. 3. You will make an appointment with your doctor and be tested for sexually transmitted diseases. I will not even consider having sex with you until I know for sure you are safe. Should any results prove positive, I will immediately file for divorce. 4. Consent to putting a GPS in your car that I will access on a daily basis and answer any questions I might have as to your whereabouts without any negative attitude. 5. Agree to marriage counseling. If you concur with my demands, I will try my best to forgive you, but rebuilding my trust will take time and patience. What you must do now, my darling, is choose. I pray you to choose wisely. Hurt, but still with all my love, Robert. I put these people in the carbon copy. Audrey Simpson, Mr. and Mrs. Darrell Hoskins, Mr. and Mrs. Bryce Anderson, Mr. John Coulter, attorney at law. I could hear Linda and Audrey talking as I finished. I knew they moved from the kitchen to the couch in the living room. I wished I could hear what they were saying, but in the end, it really didn't matter. I had taken my stand and there would be no negotiations. I went into Mail Merge and addressed an envelope and a copy of the letter to my parents, Linda's parents, and our family attorney. I stuffed and sealed each envelope, respectively, and stamped them. I then made 2 more copies for the co-conspirators. I saw them both turn their heads in my direction when they heard me exit my office. "I'll be right back," I said, heading for the front door. "I have something for the mailbox." "Mailbox?" my wife questioned. I was out the door before she could complete what she was saying. I walked to the corner and mailed all 3 copies of my deposition. A few minutes later, I was back. I approached both women, sitting on my couch, and handed them each a copy of my statement. "What's this?" Linda queried. "Have you considered what we talked about?" "Yes, I have," I countered. "You hold in your hand my thoughts on the subject. I wanted to spell them out in black and white to make sure there are no misunderstandings." They both tentatively started to unfold their paper. I carefully watched Linda's face as she read. Tears immediately flooded her eyes. "You bastard!" screamed Audrey. "What kind of a prick are you? Come on, Linda," she said, taking my wife by the hand. "Shut up!" my wife yelled, jerking her hand from Audrey's grip. "He's my husband and I love him. Nobody, including you, is going to call him names in my presence." The look of shock on Audrey's face was priceless. "Out," my wife continued. "I want you out of my house and out of my life. I don't ever want to see or hear from you again." Linda stood and lifted Audrey up by the arm. "This is goodbye, Audrey," she said, escorting her former friend to the door. "I mean it. I listened to you, and now my marriage is in trouble. Stay away from me," were her last words, before slamming the door in Audrey's face. She turned toward me, with tears rolling down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. Yes, I accept your demands and anything else you say." "I swear, Robert, I haven't done anything, but I'll be glad to get tested for sexually transmitted diseases. Just please tell me that eventually you'll forgive me. I know it will take time, but I love you. I don't want a divorce. Heavens, I can't even picture my life without you." "I said I'd try, Linda. I can't promise more than that right now, except for one thing. One slip, if I catch you trying to satisfy your curiosity by so much as standing in the same room with a naked person, it's over." "I know," she replied sadly. "I know it will take time to convince you, but I have no desire to ever be with anyone but you. I know now, I never really did." That night, I helped her move her clothes to the spare bedroom. For the time being, we simply told the kids we had a fight and were sleeping in different rooms until we cooled off. They were skeptical, I could see it in their faces, but cautiously accepted our explanation. The next day, I went out and bought a GPS for Linda's car. Without her knowledge, I also bought a recording device for the phones. It was a simple little gizmo. All you did was plug it into any phone jack. When a call was either placed or received from any phone in the house, it recorded both sides of the conversation. When the connection was broken, the recorder stopped. I set it up in my office and hid the unit behind the filing cabinet, just in case. Sunday, I equipped Linda's car with the GPS and downloaded the software to my laptop. I was hopeful, but not assured of our future together. Linda's job required her to work only 4 days a week. She got Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays off. Needless to say, I kept my eye on that GPS signal all day at work on Monday. She went to the grocery store at about 10 o'clock. Other than that, the car never left the drive. I was still very apprehensive and anxious to review the phone tap. When I got home that night, the kids were doing their homework at the kitchen table while Linda was cooking dinner. "Hi, honey," she said, rushing over to give me a kiss. I saw the disappointment in her eyes when I turned my cheek to her. "Can we talk later tonight when the kids are in bed?" she quietly asked. Again, my heart started to beat like a drum. "Yeah," I answered, already feeling my anxiety. After supper, I spent some time with the kids, then announced that I had some work to do and retired to my office, closing the door behind me. I plugged a set of headphones into the recorder to make sure no one but me could hear it. For a moment, my heart sank when I heard the first call. It was from Audrey. "Hello," my wife answered on the second ring. "Hey girlfriend, is he at work? Can you talk?" "Audrey, was I not clear the other day? I don't want to talk to you. You are no longer my friend. Get that through your head." "Oh, come on, Linda. Who knew Robert would take it like that? I had no intentions of ruining your marriage." "I don't care, Audrey. The first condition Robert had in his letter was that I drop you as a friend, and I'm not taking any chances on messing up. If you ever try to contact me again, I will tell everyone that you tried to sabotage my marriage. I mean it. I don't ever want to talk to you again." With that, the line went dead. My heart started beating again. Maybe there is a chance for us, I thought. The next call was from her parents. Wow, did she get it from them? "Hello," I heard Linda answer with a sigh. I think she thought it might be Audrey again. "Linda, I just got a very strange letter from Robert. What is this all about?" "Oh, hi, Mom. Yeah, I made a very big mistake." "Mistake? Did you really tell Robert you were going to have an affair?" "Well, not quite an affair. You know my friend Audrey. Well, she..." Before she could go on, she heard her dad's voice through the phone. "Who is that? Are you talking to Linda? Give me that phone. Hello?" "Hi, Dad," she answered with a shaky voice. "What the hell is wrong with you? Is this how we raised you? To cheat on your husband? How can you even think of such a thing? I'm ashamed of you. We're both ashamed of you." I could hear Linda sniveling as she tried to answer him. "I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I know I've hurt you and Mom. I've certainly hurt Robert. I'm so sorry." I could hear her crying harder. Her dad heard her as well. It seemed to quell his anger a little. His voice was a little calmer when he spoke again. "I don't understand what got into you, girl. I sure as hell hope you told him you'd abide by those rules he put down." "Yes, Dad. I've already dropped Audrey as a friend. I told her I never wanted to talk to her again. I can't have the sexually transmitted diseases tests done where I work. I would be too embarrassed, but I'm going to call an out-of-town clinic and have it done there. I'm also going to be the best wife a man could ever want, Dad. I know how lucky I am to get a second chance. Believe me, I won't blow it." They continued to talk a little longer. Then her mother got on the phone again. By the time they were done, all three were bawling. The most enlightening call was from Linda to my mother. "Hi, Mom." "Linda, hi, honey. It's so good to hear from you. How is everything?" "Obviously, you haven't received Robert's letter yet." "Letter? No, is everything all right?" my mother inquired. "Well," Linda wanted to reply. "What is it, Linda? What's wrong? Are the children okay? Did something happen to Robert?" I could hear the panic in Mom's voice. "No, Mom. The kids are fine. Robert's fine. Well, I did something really stupid and it's hurt our marriage. Robert's threatened to divorce me and..." "Divorce? What did you do?" my mom inquired. "I told him I wanted to date other men," she told my mom. "What? Why would you say something like that?" I don't know, Mom. It was stupid. I let a friend of mine fill my head with a bunch of nonsense. She's single, and she's always going out with different guys. She's got all these stories about having sex with them. She says no two guys do it alike. Some are better than others, but everyone is different. She made it sound like I was missing out on so much fun all the time. She kept telling me I should get out there and experience what life had to offer. She said she could line me up with as many guys as I wanted. We could double date. She just kept talking and talking, and like an idiot, after a while, I started to listen to her. Linda, you're married. She's single. That's a big difference, my mom replied. I know, my wife responded, but she introduced me to a friend of hers, a married friend. Her name was Betty. She said her husband let her go out with other guys all the time. She said he loved her so much he wanted her to have fun. After all, it was just sex. The two of them got together and tried to convince me Robert would do the same because he loved me. Inwardly, I knew he'd never go for it, but I kind of followed their lead. I never stopped to think how much it would hurt him. The pain in my mom's voice came through loud and clear. Oh, Linda, how could you? She sobbed. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry, Linda replied. What happened? Did he leave you? What about the kids? No, he didn't leave me. He gave me an ultimatum. Dump the girlfriend who talked me into it and give up any notion of sleeping with anyone else, or divorce. We're also going to go to a marriage counselor. He sent out a letter explaining our situation. It went to my mom and dad, you and Dad Anderson, and to our attorney. My mom and dad already got it, but I figured it'd take another day to get to you guys. You could hear my mom crying. Linda, I don't know what to say. I never thought you could be so cruel. I hope for your sake Robert loves you as much as I think he does. If I'd done something like that to Bryce, I would have been out on my arse in a hurry. I know, Mom. Now it was Linda who was crying again. I promise I'll never hurt him again. I came real close to losing him, but I'm going to show him how sorry I am every day for the rest of my life. Please forgive me. Listening to both of them crying was causing my own eyes to well up. At about 10 o'clock that night, we made sure the kids were in bed and then sat on the couch for our talk. I was still in the dark as to the nature of our little wow, but I could see moisture already building in Linda's eyes as she started. I talked to our parents today. Mom and Dad got your letter. Boy, she said with a forced chuckle. Dad really let me have it. Actually, she said after a second thought, everyone pretty much let me have it. Your mom and dad hadn't received the letter yet, but I'm sure they'll get it tomorrow, so I called to kind of cushion the blow. Too bad I didn't think to do that for my own folks. Everybody's so hurt and disappointed in me. Why wouldn't they be? I'm disappointed in myself. I just want to say again how sorry I am. She wiped the tears from her eyes and continued. Also, now don't get mad, but I've got to tell you, Audrey called too. I guess she thought I was kidding when I said we were no longer friends. Anyway, I told her that if she ever called me again, I'd tell everyone how she tried to sabotage my marriage. She doesn't have many women. Friends and I don't think she's willing to take a chance of losing the few she has, so I doubt I'll hear from her again. Even though I knew all about them, I was glad she told me about the calls. I took her hand, smiled, and thanked her for being honest with me. The following week, Linda went in for her sexually transmitted disease tests. To tell you the truth, I never really believed she had actually cheated on me. If she had, I don't think Audrey would have been able to keep from rubbing my nose in it. She would have most certainly spilled the beans. I know HIV can hide in the body for years before showing up, but all the other tests were negative, so after 3 months, I finally let Linda back into our bed. At first, our lovemaking was awkward, but Linda was relentless and worked hard to regain what we once had. Even after things finally got back to normal, she would do whatever I wanted and do it with enthusiasm. I think our lovemaking is better today than it ever was. The marriage counseling sessions helped as well. Audrey and her friend really did a job on my wife. Our therapist made her go over every conversation again and again, even that Betty's husband got into the act. From what she said, he did his best to convince her that he let his wife play around because he loved her so much. He told Linda that any man who truly loved his wife should be able to put his jealousy aside to make her happy. I really think he was hoping to get into her pants himself somewhere down the line. One of these days, I'm going to have to look that asshole up and personally express my feelings for his assistance in seducing my wife. Between the three of them, they really poured it on thick. It's been over a year since that ill-fated day, and although I've never had the slightest cause for suspicion since then, I still monitor Linda's whereabouts with the GPS once in a while. I also check her phone calls every so often. Once that seed of distrust has been planted, it's hard to let it go. Next month, we're going to celebrate her mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary. Looking back at what we went through and where we are today, I'm pretty confident that in 31 years and 3 months, we'll be doing the same. That's the end of this story. If you found it engaging, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. I've tried out a new style, so if you liked it, let me know in the comments. Your support and feedback mean the world to me. Thanks for watching.